of confidence and supply and
in the spirit of Christmas,
and all that.
in the spirit of Christmas, and in the acclamation that Deputy Micheál Martin made to the nation on a Brexit debate, PU Council meeting, and it's like the spirit of Johnny Logan. What's another year? The singer, a renowned singer. So what's another year, lads? So what's 5 minutes in another year? It's nothing. It's trivial. So I am. Thank you, Chair. That's agreed by the House. I hope it's okay. Taoiseach, and he Taoiseach Imaham, almost every time that a meeting of the European Council has taken place in the last year, it has been preceded by one crisis or another. It's just been simply a very rocky, bumpy road. However, the crisis engulfing the politics and the Parliament of the United Kingdom now genuinely appears chaotic and is set to confirm our worst fears regarding the negative impact of a hard Brexit. Our very worst fears. It's astonishing. Management of the crisis, to the extent that it was ever real, is now slipping out of all control. And that's quite apparent to one and all, worldwide. For all her determination and resilience, Mrs May is, to all intents and purposes, a lame duck Prime Minister who appears likely to become yet another victim of Tory party infighting on the European issue. And it's a sad spectacle to watch and listen to and see, you know, the uncertainty that surrounds it for our economy here and indeed for many economies. We saw that Mrs May postponed the vote on the withdrawal agreement in Westminster because she simply cannot generate or could not generate the support required for what almost everyone agrees is deeply problematic arrangement. Deeply problematic. To be fair to those members of the UK Parliament, how can anyone expect them to sign up and support an agreement that locks them into a backstop arrangement that they cannot remove themselves from? And we know they're very proud people and they're near neighbours, and we know they conquered the world in the British Empire. And pride, one of the 7 deadly sins, pride is a big part of the problem here. And they want to be proud, want to make England great again, to borrow a phrase from somebody else that used that phrase. As I said, they're going to be locked into it, the backstop. It seems that this is one issue where politics, even as the art of the possible and the art of the compromise, is destined to fail. And that's more and truer on Roisin. Very, very sad. Very sad. After the Prime Minister said she would go back to the EU and seek further clarification about the legal nature of the backstop protocol, and before she even landed in Brussels, the door was slammed in her face by Mr Juncker. I think that's a pity. And while I have to recognise and acknowledge the support that we got from our other EU colleagues, I'd be suspicious of it. And it's there, certainly it's there, and the agreement which I was briefed on by Minister Corbyn tonight, it was formed up, is a good agreement for Northern Ireland, a very good agreement for Northern Ireland, and it's quite a good one for us in the Republic. And I have to acknowledge that. But at what price, I wonder? What's going to be expected for us to deliver afterwards when we have a crash-out Brexit? If we have a crash-out Brexit, which it looks like we're going to have, and the uncertainty and the impact on all our lives here in this economy, especially in rural Ireland and the agricultural industry, which so much of our exports go into the United Kingdom. This kind of approach is only giving fuel to those elements of the UK political class who have their face against any constructive deal. That's kind of, closing the door before she even got off the plane. Surely she should be embraced, and this is going on right from the very start. And no empathy or no understanding given as to why, or no examination or in-depth analysis to why the vote. Why do people vote to leave Brexit? We all know the very many reasons. Immigration was one of them, but there's certainly all reasons of lack of autonomy and Big Brother, and indeed people just been imposed, and tough talk, and the neglect, as they neglected to support us in our financial crisis, and the so-called bailout, which I described as a clean-out and voted against it, when they charged us 6% for money that we got from the IMF for 3%, less than 3%. In the meantime, we here in Ireland increasingly look to experience all of the unimaginable consequences a hard Brexit or no deal scenario comes to pass. And that's what it is, unimaginable and just fearful And can you imagine how business people who have lots of money invested in companies, jobs, job security, and everything else, how they feel? Added to this crisis, the European Council must also deal with the continuing challenges it is having with Italy and the ongoing rows about budgetary oversight. This is in the background too. The Italian people and the Italian leadership are simply not prepared, it seems, to take threats about punitive financial penalties lying down. And nor should they. And they see the experience of what happened to us in other countries like Greece. Italian youth unemployment is above 30%, which is staggering. The population is expected to face declining standards of living, low prospects of upward mobility, and high unemployment. So that's the next crisis. And are we going to be the hard men in Brussels and the hard speak? They mightn't get away as easy from the Italians. Yet again, however, the EU leadership is adopting a ruthless and hardline approach to this issue, and one that is astonishing the Italian people. And I would say antagonising them also, and making them look over their shoulder and say, we now know why British people voted for Brexit. However, the Italian people and the Italian leadership are simply not prepared to take threats about punitive financial penalties lying down. These two issues alone, Taoiseach, Minister, point to massive levels of disruption up ahead. We know that if the UK economy is hit, we will suffer badly. But I always said when England caught cold, we got the flu. We're just our nearest trading nations. We have so many Irish over there, and we have so many exports and so much business intertwined over and back. We know that if Italy enters into a severe debt crisis, the entire European economy will suffer major damage. The fact that these two scenarios now look more likely than ever is deeply concerning, to say the least, to my people, to my constituents, right through Tipperary, from Carrick-on-Suir to Clonmel, to Cashel and to Thurles and Roscrea, Templemore and Nino, right up the middle and all around, and the farming community, and the astonishing crisis that's at the moment in the beef industry, and indeed in many sectors in farming already. So, I mean, it's just shocking. And I couldn't finish without saying something about, our uncaring attitude at EU level towards the persecution of Christians and Muslim minorities and other minorities in the Middle East. Yemen has been mentioned here, and the atrocious war that's going on there. I visited the Middle East recently, and it's just shockingly atrocious. And if countries like France and England exported massive amounts of weaponry there to heap destruction on men, women and children. Everybody. It's a savage war, but I have tried for several times since 2011, I think I went to the Middle East, to have a meaningful debate here in this House about the persecution of Christians and other minorities in the Middle East. And Yemen is no different. And I've got no support, no appetite across all the unified parties. You can unify in everything. You can unify for months on the repeal the 8 and to rush legislation through this House. But no debate on that. Just throwing a blind eye to it because we might offend someone in Europe. It's outrageous, and thanks to the Comptroller, Deputy O'Farrell, to give us, three of us, Deputy Kevin O'Keefe, myself and Deputy Grealish, and one other, a topical debate here on Holy Thursday evening a couple of years ago. That's all we got, and thanks to him, or only for him, we'd have got nothing. So you turn a blind eye to that, to be the good boys and girls of Europe, and to salute, and when they say jump, you say how high. So we don't know how to jump in, Minister. You've done all the jumping, you've done all the box ticking, you've done tours of European capitals, you get the support definitely, and that has to be recognised. But what? At what price? At what price? Can't cost us or a shin. At what price? That's the worry I have. What's going on behind closed doors, and what have we signed up to? I signed up, like we recently signed up to UN Declaration only this week on migrants. What else have we signed up to? I'll leave myself open to here in this Parliament, without any debate here. Any debate whatsoever, or any debate, and the media have a role to play as well. And I told them to come out and try and be more investigative and be more energetic in talking about these issues of why they're not being debated in this Parliament. As I said, you could clear the decks here last week, Minister. Clear the decks of anything, any business, to ensure that you rushed a horrific abortion bill over the line. Clear the decks, and with cooperation from all parties. And he even pulled out votes of sympathy for your former Taoiseach, WT Cosgrave offered the business last week of meeting in order to be all unified. Then today you have the Fianna Fáil party who are propping you up in that issue more than anything else against the wishes of their own members as voters in our nation. And yes, and now we have the year of confidence and supply again. And when people want rid of this government, most of them want rid of Theresa May because of the appalling way you're neglecting housing, agriculture, across the range, children, everything else. It's simply appalling. I am saying European Council meeting, but I'm just saying other people diverge and give us a State of the Nation address on why the confidence supply at the very start, so I'm allowed some latitude, I hope. So people want rid of this government. You don't know how much they want rid of it because you're anti-democratic and you're uncaring above all and everything else. And you turn a blind eye to Yemen, turn a blind eye to the Middle East. We have a proud, peacekeeping, neutral reputation, but it's fastly disappearing here. And I'm worried what you signed up to. I hand over to Deputy High.
Thank you, Deputy McGrath.